Compton. I haven't lost all my marbles yet. I haven't lost all my marbles yet, Steve Compton.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and esteemed guests, I haven't lost all my marbles yet. Recently, a friend of mine died. She lost her battle with pancreatic cancer at the age of 51. As she lay there, way too still for somebody with so much life left to live, I was reminded of the value of every single week. Now, I don't know about you, but I learn best from stories and from object lessons. And as I was there at her funeral, I was reminded of a story I'd heard many years earlier. And I'd like to share that story with you and how it's impacted my life. This story takes place on a ham radio chat line. Now, most of us know about an internet chat line. That's where we type to each other. That's the modern. Go back a few years. This is where people actually talked to themselves, to others. And as they talked to each other, they did this on ham radio. A ham radio chat line was where 2 or 3 or more people dialed into the same frequency at the same time. And the story takes place as an older gentleman is sharing with a younger gentleman. And basically he says, "You're too busy. You just missed out on an event in your daughter's life. Her dance recital." He goes on to say, "I want to share with you a way that you can keep track of your priorities maybe a little better. That's worked for me." He says, "I did some math. And I figured out that at my age, 55, I've lived 3,900 weeks, 2,900 weeks. And I've got about 1,000 left. So I went out and I got 1,000 marbles. And I put them in a jar. And every week, on Saturday, when I come down here and turn on my ham radio, I reach into that jar and I pull one out. And I throw it away. Week after week, it's a reminder to me, as I throw that marble away, of the value of every single week. And as I watch the marbles diminish in the jar, I'm reminded of the amount of time I have left, and that I need to value every single one of those weeks. Now, I'm going to tell you one more thing, he said, before I sign off and go up and give my wife a kiss and take her out to breakfast. He said, today, when I came down and reached in that jar, pulled out that little marble, it was the last one. And I want you to know that from now on, every week is a bonus that I get to celebrate. Now go back with me 15 years ago when I first heard this story. I had 4 teenage children. I was working 50 to 60 hours a week, driving an hour each way to get there, and I was a full-time student. Needless to say, I was too busy. And the truth of that story hit me like a Mack truck right here. I made some changes. And I said I learned from object lessons. Well, I remember that story. And standing at my friend's funeral, that story came back to me. Come forward with me 15 years now. And I remembered that story because of the value of every single week. Seeing her lying there, I knew she wasn't going to be able to spend another minute with her children or her husband. Finally, I went out and got a jar of marbles. This is my jar. Tomorrow, I'm 58. And that means I've used up 3,040 weeks. And I have 1,049 to go. Because the average age now that people live to is 78.3. And every Saturday, it is Saturday, I'm going to throw away a marble to remind me of the value of every single week. And in 1,048 weeks, I want to reach into this jar, should I be blessed to live that long, and pull out that last marble. And when I throw it away, it's my hope that I can look back over the last 1,048 weeks and know that I didn't waste any of them because they were valuable. What about you? And